And now, CL 650 presents your source for leading-edge news and information on today's hottest products and services. This is Experts on Call.
And welcome to Experts on Call on CL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton, and today we are talking about insurance. As the largest insurance company in Canada, IntactInsurance provides protection for what matters the most. And should the unexpected happen, it's good to know that you can always count on them. Today, our insurance topic is something that affects all of us, especially at this time of year. It's all talked about preparing for summer. And joining us in the studio today from IntactInsurance is June3rd2015, along with Andrew Tablotny of Laguerre-Pelling Insurance. I want to say thanks to you both for joining us today. And Tira, let's start with you. Can you just tell us a little bit about what you do with IntactInsurance?
Sure. I am a director with corporate personal insurance at Intact, and I specialize in areas like deployment, which is deploying large projects that we have on the go. I also oversee our audit department for personal insurance and our training functions there. Excellent.
Can you just give us a little example of some of the things that you do? Maybe in layman terms?
In layman terms?
Like in an average day?
In an average day, I attend a lot of meetings. I do a lot of planning, actually, for upcoming projects that we have on the go. So when we have a new product that we want to introduce to the brokers, I organize the training for our internal people and provide them with the materials to deploy or distribute that information to brokers so that they can in turn train their customers on our products.
It's always nice to have a little bit of an explanation that goes along with the title.
For sure.
Excellent. And Andrew, we have met once before. You were on the very first show that we had. Tell us a little bit about what you do with Laguerre-Pelling Insurance.
Well, I've lived and worked in Richmond for quite a while now. I've bought my brokerage in 1990. Been in the insurance business for 35 plus years. I guess I consider myself one of the few true independents. We're one shop operation. I've got 15 employees, including 2 of my own sons. So I always refer to us as a family business because I've always tried to make my office sort of a family run outfit, including my own staff. So, as I tell my clients, if it drives, if it flies, or it floats, I'll insure it. So
that pretty well covers everything.
Pretty much.
And with the family business, is your wife involved as well?
Yes, she is. She looks after the books, so she keeps track of where all her money's going.
Excellent. Our goal with this edition of Experts on Call is to provide beneficial information that demonstrates how important it is to take the time to have the proper and appropriate insurance in place at all times. IntactInsurance knows you want to get back to your normal life, and they can help you do that should the unforeseen happen. We desire to show you that insurance claims are not a bad thing, and that the people at Intact are here to actually help you understand insurance and the entire claims process, which can be confusing to some of us most of the time. Intact will start your claim within 30 minutes of your call, guaranteed. So whether it's daytime, nighttime, or a weekend, an Intact Insurance representative will be there to help get you back on track. So I know our conversation today is going to be a little bit on the lighter side. We're talking about summertime, but we're going to talk about insurance in general. And let's just start with that. What is insurance and why is it so important? Tira, do you want to start with that?
Sure. Insurance to me is a promise of protection from the financial consequences of an event. So that catastrophic event that happens in your life. It covers the cost of repairing damage, and it also covers the cost of replacing your home, your contents, any outbuildings such as a garage on your property. It protects you for the cost to live elsewhere while that home is being rebuilt or that garage is being rebuilt. But deeper than that, I believe that insurance is about people. Really, the goal of our product suite is to offer customers that promise to get them back to their day-to-day life as quickly as possible after a catastrophic event. And as far as importance is concerned, it's important in two ways. Firstly, during the bad times, of course, when that catastrophic event happens, we're there to provide that protection to the customer. But it's also a necessary part of a healthy economy. We're there to help customers prosper in the good times as well. So we give people confidence and that freedom from worry if something was to happen.
Andrew, from the broker side, is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, the only aspect that she didn't cover was the liability exposures, that your policy also covers you in the event that you're sued for negligence or issues that are surrounding that. So other than auto, obviously, so auto is covered by ICBC, but if you do some sort of negligent act, your house insurance will provide coverage for you.
And how easy is it to get an insurance policy?
Pick up the phone and call. 10 minutes later, you can have coverage.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about the difference between replacement cost, guaranteed replacement cost, actual cash value, and reconstruction cost?
Sure. Yeah. Most policies these days, if you have a home insurance policy, most brokers sell you what's called a comprehensive form, which is an all-risk policy that gives you very broad-based coverage. The policy says we cover you for everything that happens except, and then they list the exceptions: nuclear incidents, infested by termites, mechanical breakdown, that sort of thing.
Acts of God.
Flooding, yes, right. Earthquake is excluded, but you can buy that as an additional endorsement. And then there's a named perils form, which covers you for specific perils, and there's 17, 18 different perils. The difference between the two policies is on the all-risk policy, you get loss, accidental damage, or mysterious disappearance. The basic homeowners form provides replacement cost, guaranteed replacement cost on the building and replacement cost on your contents. The difference between replacement cost versus guaranteed replacement cost is a guaranteed replacement cost doesn't have a set limit. So if you buy a house policy for $600,000 and for whatever reason the house now costs $800,000, the insurance company will pay the $800,000. If you were to have strictly a replacement cost policy, which might be applicable to your seasonal dwelling or your rental dwelling, if you only insured for $600,000, they would only pay the $600,000 limit. Where this is important is, on the average claim, it's less of an issue, but if we ever have a major earthquake, the statistics are that costs will increase anywhere from 25 to 30% more than what the current rates would be to reconstruct the house.
Why is that?
Well, lack of labor, lack of supplies. It's just supply and demand. So, I can quote you the example. When we had the Kelowna fires, and we've seen a significant increase in the valuation of buildings values over the last 10 years, which has impacted premiums. But after the Kelowna fires, they found that a good chunk of the houses were underinsured by about 100% of their value when it came time to rebuild. They were talking about pieces of plywood costing $25 one day, and the day after the fire, it was suddenly worth $60 for that same piece of plywood. So this is the sort of problems the insurance company have to deal with.
And if you have any questions about it and you're unsure about the policy that you do have, basically just pick up the phone and call your broker and ask these questions to make sure that you're covered in the way that you need to be covered.
Right. Well, you always want to ask the question before the claim rather than after the claim. So
this is true. Very important. Now, I know there's an endorsement that Intact offers, and it's called the Lifestyle Program. And under that Lifestyles endorsement, there is something about, explain to me how that works in a situation with actual cost or
Sure.
replacement cost.
Well, yeah, the third term we didn't touch on was actual cash value. Actual cash value says that if the insurance company has the option to pay you on an actual cash value basis if you do not replace something. So if you had a fire and you've got 5 TVs, you say, well, I only want 2 TVs. The other 3, they would only pay you a reduced amount based on the depreciated value, depending on how old the item was. So the Lifestyle Advantage endorsement, what it does is it says to you that if you choose not to replace items for actual cash value basis, they would actually waive the actual cash value basis option and would pay you on a replacement cost basis. So if you had a 5,000 square foot house and it burned down and suddenly you say, well, I only need 2,500 now, they'd allow you to build the 2,500 and they would pay you the difference in cash.
And that could come from an example of it was a family home, you'd raised your kids, the kids have moved on, you don't need that big house anymore.
Don't need 5 TVs anymore.
I don't need 5 TVs anymore,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, and that's something specific that is offered from Intact.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yeah. We talked about it on the last show, so
yeah, we
if
did.
anybody wants more further details, they can just refer to go to your website and look at the video.
Well, we'll always refer you to the website for if you have any questions, or to our website here. But intact.ca is where you can get more information on different policies and programs that are offered by Intact. So when it comes to insurance, there's a lot of different areas of concern that present themselves in each one of our seasons, especially here in British Columbia. We know that it's the wet coast a lot of times, and we did spend a lot of time on our very first show talking about wet weather and how wet weather affects our homes and insurance. But summertime has its own set of issues, and we're just on the verge of summer. What are some of the things that might pop up on a summertime insurance claim?
For one thing, the kids are out of school, so you might want to travel. You'll need travel insurance. You'll need to be concerned about your home as well and how to protect your home during that time. You might end up having your friends over and have a barbecue in the backyard. You might have a big party in your home, so you might need to be concerned about things like liability with having the extra people on your property. There's different things like
what about home renovations?
Sales, home renovations, things like that.
Even yard sales.
Exactly.
We should be concerned about. The heat in the summer, does that have any special wear and tear on our properties, or?
Not wear and tear so much. As a broker, what I've seen in summer, towards the end of summer, two things. One, you get claims coming in where people have left it's warm, so they put the garage door up halfway to help cool off, or they leave their front door off, and then they're out in the back gardening, and next thing you know, somebody walks into the garage and walks off with their lawnmower or their bicycle, or they walk in the front door and walk off with snatch and grab with some things. So
walked into the house.
Yes, yeah. So you don't think of that. You're going to go out and do some gardening, and you're just puttering around, and you're not conscious of the fact that there's always the potential for things to happen. So.
Sure, we live in that society now where we actually have to be worried about these kind of things.
And it's funny, I always warn clients at the end of August, be more vigilant around their homes, because the kids have been off school for two months, and they're we're going on 2 months, and they're starting to get a little randy, and we tend to see a spike in B&Es the last half of August, because it's time for them to get back to school and have a little more structure in their lives. So.
Mm-hmm. So we will be talking about travel insurance, and I think that's a giant umbrella. There's a lot of different categories that will fall under the auspices of travel insurance. It could be the actual travel medical insurance. It could be traveling in someone else's car, or traveling in your own car, or what do you do when you leave your house empty? Am I forgetting anything? Are there any more examples we can think of in under that giant umbrella of travel?
Well, it's just take into consideration the safety of your house. What's going to occur with that? What things you can do to minimize your exposure when you are traveling. Not only what you do when you're traveling, but what you've done, where you've left your house and your residence, and what things you've done to prevent things from occurring.
What state you've left your home in.
Right.
And we're not talking about cleaning the floors before you leave the house.
No.
Summer officially arrives in less than 3 weeks, so we need to talk about preparing for summer, and that's not deciding where to visit for your summer vacation. We're going to be talking about all the things that you need to consider about preparing your home for your summer vacation, and we'll talk about this straight ahead on CIL 650's Experts on Call. You are listening to CIL 650. I'm Joanne Sutton, and joining us in the studio are the insurance experts, featuring TrierraRairie from IntactInsurance, along with Andrew Tablotny of Laguerre Pelling Insurance. If you want more information, check them out online, intact.ca. We'll be right back.
This is Experts on Call on CIL 650.